This is your host and real estate coach, Rafael Cortez. You are listening to the REI Wholesaling Podcast, where every week I bring you the real life case studies and strategies you need to level up your real estate wholesaling business. If you haven't done so yet, go to reiwholesaling.com. Again, that's reiwholesaling.com. Sign up and get free access to your Wholesaling 101 course. This free training teaches you step by step everything you need to close your next wholesale deal and start making big money now. This is Rafael Cortez, your wholesaling business blueprint coach. And today we are sitting down with Justin Pendleton. He is an active military MP out of Buffalo, New York. He's actually been doing real estate wholesaling for a couple of years, has closed a few deals here and there. Recently has had massive results. There's a couple of things that have happened throughout his journey that I really want to tap into. Some of those are about perseverance and staying on it right before you're about to quit. So I really want to break into that. So Justin, welcome to the podcast. Glad to have you, brother.
Hey, glad to be here always.
I mean, you've been wholesaling for a few years, for a couple of years now, right? And you've closed, a couple of deals already. You've structured some other ones that fell through. You've had, a few partnerships that kind of went south and things like that here and there. However, recently, you have been able to put some solid stuff together that's given you massive results. I want to talk about that, but give us a little bit of background on you.
Yeah, man. So, like you said, I've been doing this for a couple of years now. First year I started, like you said, got into a partnership, closed a couple deals with him, a couple more that didn't come my way. So we separated, then I had to move on. Found your group, dove into that, took in the learning and everything, and, put, the learning into action, right? So I had my VA. I got a VA last September, so actually it's the anniversary of me having this VA. She's my cold caller. She's been cold calling, reaching out to a lot of people. That's how I've been getting my leads. They come in, I call, set up appointments, and we get it done if it works out. Like you said, I had some that fell through, but I got some coming in now, and one that's close. So.
It's a volume game, right? At the end of the day, we're really the crazy thing about it, and I always mention it is we're looking for a very small percentage of the people that want to sell. Out of those people, a very small percentage is going to be an actual fit for what we're trying to do, right? As far as coming in and then solving a problem for them. You're in a particular situation. You're active military. You have a full-time, job, which you go into, every single day. The schedule shifts. You've been able to work around that by plugging in, the VA, and then setting up the flow, right? The lead flow, the pre-qualification process, and then now you're dealing with a certain amount of pre-qualified leads per se, as opposed to having to dig through all that data, right? That when you do when you're cold calling. It's a way of working around some of those challenges that come at us. One thing that pops up is you made a comment. You made a very, very important comment, right? I think it was the last coaching call that we had. You said, "Man, I was on the verge of just calling it," and because of the your schedule and everything that's going on and just life getting in the way and the the lack of consistency up to some point as far as having the leads and the pipeline to on a healthy state. And you said, I was about to call it, and then this thing hit, this one deal hit, and you started talking about this deal that we're going to break down here in a few seconds. But what's your thought process as you're going through that? Like, what's going through your head?
So yeah, man. So you said full-time military. So what I do, I work 12-hour shifts, right? And that is exhausting, right? 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., right? My VA cold calls 12 to 8 p.m. So while she's cold calling, I'm at work, and when she brings in the leads, I try and call them at work. But when you work in 12-hour shifts in the military, man, you sometimes you don't really have enough time to really be focusing on it. And
right.
It was real rough at first because it just hit a point where nothing, like guys would want $2 million for a $50,000 house, and you go through so many, you're like, man, I'm really not, nothing's really coming my way. So 1 month passes, nothing. 2 months passes, nothing. 3 months passes, nothing. I'm like, oh my gosh, So yeah, I almost called it quits. luckily, I have got a couple where I reached out to them and set up a comment, and it looked like something will work. So I
Mhm.
was focusing on those two, and uh, almost at like I was like, if this doesn't work out, I just don't know, man. This may not be for me, like because I've gotten a couple under contract where I had to terminate the contract because it was too high, nobody was getting it. So I was like, look, man, if this doesn't work, this may just be a sign that it's not for me. So,
The
and
uh, the
then
the crazy thing about it, and I see it time and time again, right? It's one of the biggest reasons why people stop right in the middle of the pursuit is because there's no consistency, there's no systematic approach to it. So when we walk around throwing spaghetti on the wall, and it's hard to stay constant on something like that, right? Especially if you have some type of overhead going out the window, like the payroll of VA, and you're putting money, time and effort into something, but it's not a systematic approach. It can be daunting, right? Because you don't know how long it's going to take for your results to come in until you actually start tracking. Okay, what are the KPIs? What are the calls? The amount of calls that we're doing here? What's the conversion rate? How many of those leads are actually getting turned into prospects? How many of those prospects are actually getting offers? Right. So now you have this pipeline, this way of putting the whole business model together, and in a step 1, step 2, step 3 type of fashion. But one thing that I see happening is often when people quit, because there's no infrastructure, there's no set foundation on something where they can actually build that help for consistency. And I think, you've done that well. You actually went AWOL there for a little bit during the coaching calls and everything. And then you came back as like, I was working so hard in this, and really trying to make things happen. And you were going through the middle of this one deal that just closed. It's a challenging thing, right? To have a full-time job, especially if you're active military. And thank you for your service, by the way. It's not easy, right? Dealing with life, dealing with friendships and family, and still have the audacity to come in and then do something else like this. It's gonna build up your dreams. And especially when the faith starts to drop, and our mindset starts to be doubtful, and we get into that space where, like, what, this may not be for me, and then boom, you get hit with some hope. It really, it just lit you up again, because I know we during our conversations, like, I can definitely see it, like, oh, holy cow, like, it's a real thing, and now it's paying off, right? Sometimes we'll do work for weeks, right? And then we'll prospect, we'll follow up, we'll do this and that, and what's happening is that there's a stacking effect. It may feel like there's not a lot of results going on, but everything is stacking, and it just pops. The deal comes where, okay, cool, this is a game changer. And not just because of the monetary benefits and the spread that you're going to make out of it, but because of the mindset shift that happens. So tell me about this deal. How'd you come across it? How'd you generate the lead? What type of list was it? And it's in Buffalo, right? It happened in Buffalo, New York.
Yep. Yeah, I'm in Buffalo, New York. So I came across it. I think I just used a absentee high equity list.
Okay.
Actually, I'm thinking. And I had my VA co-call it. So she ran through it, and it was just another one of the, hey, here's a guy, he's looking to sell. And I was like, oh, okay, what's he looking to sell for? And she said 50, 55. And I was like, oh, that's like the most reasonable price I've heard in a very long time. So jumped on that. I looked at her notes. It said duplex, both occupied, and I'm like, oh, for a duplex? Okay, okay. So let's check it out, because it may just be complete garbage,
Yeah.
because I've dealt with people trying to sell a pile of trash for $50,000. So let's go check it out, right? So I called him, and he said, yeah, my dad used to own it, because I actually called this guy's dad last year, I think, and his dad passed away.
Oh,
Because
wow.
he popped up in the notes. Yeah, he popped up in one of my past notes. He wasn't trying to sell then, so I guess he popped up again in this list. And so talked to the son, say, yeah, my dad passed away, and I don't know what I'm doing with this. it went to his mother. His mother has no idea what to do with a rental property. So I said, okay, well, I can gladly take it off your hands. I can help you out with getting, with possibly selling it. He said, yeah, come on down, check it out. And I was like, okay, cool. So I didn't want this opportunity to go out the window. So I instantly hit up one of the areas, like, top real estate agents / wholesaling people to help me out with this, because I did not want it to fall through, right? Her name was Delisa Robinson, and she helped me out with a couple of stuff. So we both went there and check it out. It's in good condition. It's not falling apart. Like everything else around it is falling apart, but this place is pretty okay. So I was like, okay, cool. Talk to the guy. I said, hey, nice to meet you.
Found the gem.
Yeah, pretty much, right? So we walked through it. He tells meet the downstairs tenant, but we don't see the upstairs because the guy upstairs isn't paying any rent. So that's another, pressure point,
right?
That's making him want to sell, right?
Yep.
So,
seller payment, yeah.
And then it had a vacant unit in the back that was garbage, right? Mm-hmm. So he didn't want to deal with that. So I talked to him. I say, hey, with the tenant not, paying rent upstairs, we weren't able to see it. Downstairs looked fine, and you got that one in the back that we're going to have to repair. I'm looking at around 40,000. He's like, oh, well, can you do 45? I was like, yes, I could have did 50, 55. So, don't show this to the guy.
A couple of things that are happening right there. You're dropping a lower anchor than the price point that you want to offer, right? I mean, because we always know that there's always pushback. There's always it doesn't matter what where you start off. Like the first number is never the number. It's if you wanted to end up somewhere in the mid 40s, 50s, or 55, even at the price point that they had asked for originally, you always go a little lower just because there's going to be some type of pushback. Yeah, love it.
Right, exactly. So, I did my negotiation. I talked with my partner at first, and she said, "Oh yeah, if you can get it for 45, that's perfectly fine." Mm-hmm. I said, "Okay, well, can you do 43?" Talk to the guy. Yeah. Can you do 43? He's like, "Yes, 43 sounds perfect." It's like, all right, cool. Yeah. So, but see, here's the kicker. Now, here's where it became an uphill battle, right? Mm-hmm. He didn't want to sign right then and there because it was in his mom's name. Right, his mom had to sign it. So I went. It took weeks just to get her to sign the agreement. We had to mail it to her attorney. Then her attorney had to mail it to her. Then she had to mail it back. Then it had to be a whole mailing of just paperwork that just took weeks and weeks and weeks. Right. Mm-hmm. So that's why I've been MIA, because I'm like, no, I'm not finna let this fall through. Because when I talked to my partner, she was like, I can sell this for 90.
Yeah. Wow. ARV of $90,000. Yeah. What was the ARV on it?
I'm gonna be honest with you. It was nowhere near that.
Really?
For that area, I don't know how she did it, but I guess she just took like the inflation of everything that's going on right now.
Yeah.
If it was just me selling it, I would have sold it for 65. Mm-hmm. 65, maybe 70.
Wow.
How she got 90 out of it, no idea.
See, that's the thing. That's the thing about leveling up, right? When you JV, when you partner up with somebody who has the resources that perhaps we don't have at the time, it's not about having the resources, it's about being resourceful. So you taking the step forward right out of the gate and then bringing her into the deal. I mean, you double. I mean, you were gonna sell her in the 60s. She sold it for 90, man. Like that's a huge bump in revenue. All right. Yeah, it's being split by the two of you, but now you have a professional that's working with you, in the area that, you're tapping into their network. Right now, this agent, is she an agent?
Yeah. She does it all, man.
Okay. I mean, now she's super happy. If you bring something else, trust me, like she's going to be more than willing to work with you. So let me backtrack here, and I want to go back into the details, right? But you said she sold it for $90,000.
Yep. We got it sold for $90,000.
For $90,000, and you locked it up at $43,000. Wow, that's a $47,000 profit, right? And then you kept half of that.
Oh yeah. Ring the bell.
Bam. Man, that's
It's real,
insane. That's
man.
crazy. So tell me the
It's
rest of
real.
it. Tell me the rest of it. What happened afterwards?
Yeah, so after that long uphill battle of getting everything signed, getting all the paperwork in, then came the buyer. So the buyer was the guy who paid us. It was an uphill battle with him. I
Yeah.
had to show him the property at least 4 times,
Mhm.
right? And each time he brought like 7 different guys. Now I had to talk to the seller and be like, hey, my contractor guy's coming to check it out. Well, it's kind of odd that your contractor guy is bringing an entire crew with
Yeah.
him to check out the property, right? So I had to gift of gab that to get at least 2 guys in to check it out each time. And on the day right before closing, he wanted to see it again.
Mhm.
So now in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, please don't. Like, if this doesn't work out, that's it. I'm done. I'm cutting my losses, right? Because this just isn't for me then if it doesn't work out. So I show it to him, and I talked to my partner. I said, hey, I showed the guy again the property. Is he going to close on it? What's going on?
What's going on, man?
She says, yeah, let me call you back, right? So she calls me back, and I'm at the mall right now because I just want to get my mind off of it. Just taking my girl to the mall, and she calls me. She's like, hey, do you want your assignment fee in cash? I was
What?
like, yeah, I guess. Isn't it going to be like a check? Like he writes a check down at closing? Yeah. And no, do you like cash? Like he can give us the cash tonight. I was like, what do you mean, like under a bridge behind the alley somewhere? Like,
Is it that kind
yeah,
of a
like,
deal? Yeah.
yeah. I was like, what do you mean cash? He said he's got $47,000 in bills that he can give to me tonight, and then I'll come to you and we'll split it up. And I said, okay, I'm not gonna
Wow.
say no to that, right? So in my head, I'm thinking, is this really finna happen? It's probably not finna happen, and we're just gonna go to closing, right?
Yeah.
So I get home, around 7 o'clock comes. She calls me, hey, I'm outside. Okay, I go outside, get in the car, real like a shady little deal, and she pulls out the bag. Bam, a
Wait, wait,
grocery bag,
wait, 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 wait. You said a bag, like literally a bag of
grocery
money,
bag,
a
a
grocery
grocery
bag
bag full of money,
with 40
full of
from
money,
the
forty-seven
buyer
thousand dollars.
with
Yeah,
$47,000 that to split between the two of you.
$47,000 cash. Yep.
Man, that's insane. That is
Yeah.
crazy. 47K cash. By any chance? By any
47K
chance?
cash.
Yeah. Do you have that with you?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I got it, man. You want to see it?
Bring it up. Bring it
um,
up.
yeah. It's real, man. And so this is 20. No,
That's
this is 10.
insane.
This is 20. And then this is, yeah, man.
You know
It's
what? That's a
real.
first,
Got it
man.
in the bag.
Wow. 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 See,
Yeah.
that's the
We had
power of
this.
not, the power of consistency, the power of staying on it and being resourceful. You have a limited time on your hands. All right. So you bring in a VA somewhere that, somehow you can work around that obstacle. Right. And then you go through all this time of
Yeah.
prospecting, talking leads on your off times. You also mentioned a few times that you were even, calling people, like during your breaks. If you had 5 minutes while at work, you jump on a phone call. And I mean, that's a tenacity that's needed to have, this type of result. So
Yeah.
I'm telling you though, like it's something different, right? To get paid in cash for a closing. You had an assignment, you did the assignment, did everything, and eventually ended up getting cash instead of a cashier's check. I mean, that's I always push for, when it's a check or something like that, to go get it, collect it, and then hold it in your hands. But if you can hold in your hands a
Yeah. I
bag of
was
money,
thinking that. Yeah.
it's gonna go
Yeah.
a lot further in that belief. So congratulations, brother, on that. That's amazing. That's
Yeah, man.
crazy.
It was a crazy feeling. It didn't really hit until, I came in the house and dumped all the money on the bed and was like, okay,
Yeah.
this is it.
What is happening? now,
Yeah.
now after that, I mean, the question of, what do I do with the cash? Right. It's a very valid question. What do I do with this? You get hit with, with a lump sum of money. And we're used to, I mean, for the most part, we're used to getting, biweekly checks and that sort of thing, right? When we're working.
All right. Yeah.
But when we get hit, like it's almost, the pressure builds up. Okay, what do I do? I want to, apply this, the smart way, and not just squander it. So a lot of people put the whole thing back into marketing. A lot of people just, take it and then drop it under the pillow and whatnot. I read, I've been reading a book. It's called Profit First. And because of the question that you asked me, and I know we kind of, talked about it a little bit, it's a good strategy book on financials and how to structure like the cash flow of your business. So profit first, meaning that you pay yourself and then you put the rest of the stuff that comes into it, into the actual business. You allocate some for taxes, that way you don't get big surprises at the end of the year. But it's a good book that I can recommend people to take a look at. The book is Profit First, and it's written by Michael Lowix. But yeah, it's a good book. It's a really good strategy. And I don't know if I pronounced that last name right. So if I didn't, I apologize. Take a look at strategies, right? Whenever you get, a good lump sum of cash in your bank account or in a grocery bag, it's just, exactly. Use that to build the stepping stones for the future, right? That's one of the biggest things. That's how we actually build a business, and we don't have to, reset and start all over again after we go out there and then spend the cash. So that's amazing, man. It's insane. Yeah. It's a very interesting story. How long did it take for the deal to actually close?
So it felt like years, if I'm being honest. But
yeah, especially if you have all that direct mail going on.
So
back and forth. Yeah.
I would say like from actually talking with the lead to closing, maybe like 2.5 months.
2.5 months. Okay.
Yeah. But from getting this signed, it only took a month. So it took like a half a month just to get them to sign the agreement.
Yeah.
Right. So that's where I was sweating, because I was like, man, if she, like, this is like, $47,000, dude. Like,
yeah.
But that was just a dream in my head, and I was just like, I just want to get this signed. So dream became reality after that.
But it's again, it's on the tenacity, right? It's on the follow up. You stayed on it. You followed up. You did what you had to. If it was just sending the contracts, which is kind of a pain sometimes via regular mail. Making sure that they made it over. You answered any questions. You obviously came in, and solved the seller's problem. They didn't know what to do with the property, and it's crazy, right? But sometimes we do come across these things. Like the deals are out there, and your deal, the one that you just went through, it's not the only one. There's more stuff out there. Just people don't take the time to actually go through the process of filtering all that information and actually having conversations with people at a level where they can dissect what the real problem is. So you did that and got paid, and somebody else also got paid a good chunk of cash. Now you have a very good person in your power team, for whenever anything else pops up.
Oh yeah.
So I love it, brother.
I don't think you could be mad at someone that made you $20,000. So
Oh yeah, exactly. And then win. Now the buyer has a duplex, good investment property and everything, and everybody's happy. Wins all across, and that's what it's about, right? Yep. There's enough stuff out there. There's enough deals. We just have to stay on them. If we don't give things enough time to work, how do we know we fail? And what's the difference between failing and quitting, right? It's if you stay on top of something, you give it enough time to work, and you have an actual process, you have a progression as to how to do things, that things are going to be a lot more predictable. And then the doubt that creeps in whenever you're in the middle of something that's difficult. If you have a pathway to follow, there's always a degree of support there for you. So that's going to help out, get you through darker times, right? Because what's coming. Okay, these are the next steps. These are like the numbers that we're following. These are the KPIs. These are the stats. This is what, the average, VA and does in terms of leads and whatnot. Man. So yeah. Another thing I wanted to ask you, how many leads is your VA calling a day?
Man, she can get through an entire list, honestly, in a day, but she's calling Now this I don't know if it's great compared to yours, but 400 or 500 leads a day,
Okay.
and that's and
No, it's a good
about
number.
like full-fledged conversations, uh, maybe like 10,
Okay.
and then actual like yeah, I'm interested, warm lead, hot leads, maybe like depending on one or two, depending on.
Okay. See, and that's the thing. Your time is limited, right? Whenever we have,
Yeah,
you're going through the actual process of breaking down the interest. Your VA takes all the time in the world to call those people. So now you don't have to worry about it. Instead of reaching out to 500 people, you only have to reach out to the 10 that are interested. So that's how you're maximizing your return on time,
yeah,
and you're making that investment. A lot of, sometimes we think of VAs and having an expense, and what, it's pressure. It makes me nervous to have somebody else on my payroll, but how
yeah,
much is your time worth, right? It may not be the ideal thing where you're starting out, but if you have a way of doing it, if you have a job that's paying you on a biweekly, and you have some discretionary income there that you can apply as an investment, for your time, it's gonna help you, and it's gonna give you that big push that we need to have sometimes to get through the rubble of the data, right, to get to the actual leads. Bringing in a VA after the process, after you're done the cold calling by yourself, and you understand what it takes. After you've done that stuff, and you're somewhat
yeah,
proficient at it, you can come in and plug somebody else in to take that time off of your plate, right? And then they handle
yeah, man.
those responsibilities and send you over the leads.
Yeah, I 100% recommend it. Because like I said, like if you have no time, like if you're struggling to cold call, like obviously do some cold calling yourself, because that's all I did
Mm-hmm.
when I was before then, and I got it like down pat. So hire someone, man. It's going to be costly. Make sure that you can one afford it, because this is a person that is relying on you to pay them,
Right.
to feed their family. Like I'm really close. Her name is Jess. I know everything about her family. I know she's opening a restaurant. I know she's in school. I know her son is in school. I know she's taking care of her mom. Like, these are real people, right?
Yeah.
You got to
That's your
make sure you
in-house
can.
partner right there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I tell her that all the time. Like, good job. Couldn't do it without you. You're the MVP. So
Yeah.
make sure that you can one
Love
afford
it.
them. Two, you're actually taking care of them and teaching them and telling them what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 100% worth it, man. If someone was to ask me, should I get one? Yes. It's
Yeah.
going to be iffy at first, because you don't know what you're doing, but it pays dividends in the end.
Yeah. No, I completely 100%. I completely agree. I completely agree. All right, Justin, that's amazing, man. It's great to see everything that you're going through, the way that you're overcoming the obstacles that come at you, especially having again the big responsibility of being an active military in the Air Force, and still managing to create this other line of wealth that's gonna set you up apart from the day to day at some point. So that's amazing. Big congratulations. I don't know if there's a lot of people out there that get bags of cash on a regular basis, but it's something that can definitely go in your done and checked list.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah. With that being said, man, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, and I don't know, JV, partner up in the Buffalo, New York area, or any nearby vicinity, where's the best place to reach you at?
Yeah, man. So I'm really on Facebook. I don't really try to be much anywhere else. I am on Instagram, but Facebook, just Justin A. Pendleton, Pendleton. You'll see me. I'm the cute guy, sitting down on the grass. So that's how you know it's me. And
Love it.
yeah, and you can
You sh-
find me on Instagram, Justin underscore Penpen, Penpen. So
got it.
yeah,
Justin underscore Pempen. We'll drop those on the show notes. So Justin, it's great having you, brother. I look forward to seeing you in the coaching calls, and just breaking up the oncoming deals that you have. I know you have a healthy pipeline now, and that consistency is paying off. Now you're stacking the results, you're stacking the leads, you have deals coming in, some other stuff that's getting ready, right, to get
yeah.
processed and go to the closing table. So that's just amazing, brother. Congratulations. Big congratulations on
man.
that. Fam, thank you for listening. Every week I bring you the real, the raw, the mindset, the case studies, and the strategies you need to build your own successful real estate wholesaling business. So if you haven't done so yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button and don't miss out on real life experience and information that can make you millions. It's time to join the ranks of successful wholesalers and real estate entrepreneurs like the one you just heard, and take advantage of one of the biggest opportunities that we have in our lifetime to generate wealth. So go to reiwholesaling.com. Head over to my website, again, that's reiwholesaling.com, and learn how to make big profits, make big money by finding, negotiating, and closing wholesale deals from your own backyard. You've heard the stories, seen the case studies, stop thinking about it, it's time to write your own. Again, head over to reiwholesaling.com, click on coaching program, book a discovery call, have a conversation with my team, and you might get an invitation to join hundreds of students throughout the country who are leveling up on a daily basis. The writing is on the wall. Hustle is a season. It's not a business strategy. Take action, start building a sustainable and scalable real estate wholesaling business, and join the coaching program today. I will catch you guys on the next one. Talk to you soon. Stay focused. You got this.